Hi, I'm Alex, and in this video I'm going to show you a fairly quick, simple and easy way to speed up a slow laptop without spending hundreds or even thousands of pounds on a brand new device. So here we have the laptop that I'm going to upgrade today. It's an Asus X453M. It's about 5 or 6 years old and it's just started to run a little bit slowly. Cosmetically it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it externally. It's just started to run slowly. It doesn't do anything particularly quickly. Now, if we can see from the sticker down here, this has got 2 gig of RAM installed when the laptop was purchased. I read somewhere recently that Windows 10 operating system will use about 2 gig of RAM in order to run. So that's why there's no processing power left for anything else, and we need to add some more if we want to do word processing, web browsing, etc, etc. Basically, all the processing power of the laptop is being used in running the operating system, and there's nothing left for anything else. Okay, so I just want to show you roughly how long it's taking to boot up at the moment. So if I'm just going to press the power on key and hit the stopwatch, and we'll just show you how long it's taking to come on. It's taking around about a minute just to load up the home screen, so you can see it's starting to come to life now. Just going to scroll away, not coming up yet, it's still processing. Scroll away while I type in my password in a second. So there we go, Wednesday the 22nd of April. Just scroll away while I type in the password. Okay, and you can see now it's just coming up onto the welcome page, and there we go, it's starting to load up now. I had factory reset it before I started this, so there's no other apps or anything to load. It's just a few other things still loading in. That's up to 50 seconds now. It's still got a few little bits to go, but we're up to 50 seconds, 55. So it's taken around 55 seconds to a minute just to load everything in. So hopefully once we've put the increased RAM in, that will come down significantly. So in order to change the RAM card over, all you need is a screwdriver and a small piece of plastic in order to take the pieces of the laptop apart from each other. Now, if you're really lucky, you won't even need the plastic separator, because all you can do is unscrew these 2 screws here, and your RAM card will be there, easily accessible just through a panel on the back of the laptop. Now that's unfortunately not the laptop that I'm doing today. This is our one, and you can see there's no panels on the back of it. We've got to take the whole of the back panel off. So let me just get to that and we'll pop back in a second. Okay, so now all the screws are removed from the back. I'm going to take the power cable out, flip the laptop back over, and then this is now where we need to take out this front panel with the keys on. So to do that, it's very simple. This is where your plastic separator comes in. I'm just using an old plastic fork, plastic knife rather, but you can use anything with just a thin plastic edge that you can just prise these 2 bits apart. So all you need to do is put it in one side, pop your plastic underneath, and just run it around the outside. Prise those bits apart. Comes apart fairly easily. Unclip all the connections, and there you can see. And now it lifts off. Now, don't pull it off too quick, because underneath here there's 2 little clips that you need to undo. So hopefully you can see in here. Let's just flick that white catch up to pull that one out. Actually, just grab the screwdriver from there. So we just flick this little catch up to release that cable, and then we'll flick that white catch up to release that cable, and then the keyboard should come away. Perfect. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the RAM card that we want to access is underneath here in this corner. So I'm going to need to disconnect the battery, take out the old HDD, and disconnect a couple of these clips from here, and then we can access the RAM card. Okay, so you can see now I've taken out the battery from over here, taken out the old hard drive from in here, and I've disconnected these two cables and this strip from here as well. So there's just one more screw to undo, which is just in this corner. Wrong screwdriver. And that, I believe, is the graphics card there. So that's everything unscrewed now. So with a little bit of care, you should be able then just to wiggle the board out and then lift it up. Now, again, it is attached at the back, just over here. There's a black cable. So it is attached in there, so it won't lift off completely, but you should be able to then lift it up in order to access the RAM card, which you will see is here. Now, depending on what laptop you've got, it may well be that you've got a separate space for a second RAM card, so you may not even need to remove this one that's in there. You may just be able to install a second card. Now, I've gone for an 8 gig card for mine, which I think is optimal. So there's plenty of processing power then in the increase from the 2 that's there at the moment. Depending on what laptop you've got, you may well have more than that already, but that's what I've gone for on this one. Okay, so now we've got access to the RAM card, we need to take out the old one that's in here so we can slot the new one in. So I'm just going to gently pull the clips aside. So there's clips in either side. Slightly pull those apart, it will flick up and then come out like that. Now, when you're ordering your new card, and believe me, I've learnt this from experience, it's really important to note this number here. So this says PC3L. You've got to make sure you order the same size because they come in different lengths, not just in capacity as in 2 gig, 8 gig, etc., but different lengths. So I ordered one initially and it was the wrong size. So you need to take note of that PC3L, or you may have a DDR4 or a DDR3. There's various different ones. Just make sure you order the right number for your laptop, otherwise it won't fit. So we'll take out the old one, grab the new one. So this is the new card here, and we're just going to slot it back in. And it's as simple as that. New card inserted. So now the new RAM card's there, it's just a case of piecing everything back together the same way that we took it apart. The one tricky part of this is trying to make sure that the graphics card stays in place. So we'll flick that back over, that's going in there, like so. Let's just check those cables don't get trapped underneath. And then make sure that the graphics card is stuck in. Put that into there, like so. Pop that back down. And then it's just a case of popping all the screws back in. So we'll start with this one. Put that one in there. Pop the hard drive back in again. The other thing you may want to do is change. So I've got an HDD, a hard disk drive on this one. It might be worthwhile changing that over to a solid state drive, which is an SSD. That's a little bit more tricky because you need to do a backup and a transfer of your whole Windows operating system. So that takes a lot longer to do than just a simple replacement. Unless of course you want to buy a new version of Windows and install that. But if you want to keep the one that you had before and not having to pay extra license fees to buy another Windows license, then it does take more to do. So I have got one of those and I am going to do that, but I'm not going to do that all on this video because it takes a lot longer to do. Now once all that's done, all that remains then is to pop the keyboard back on top, You would also need to remember to pop back these two little wires underneath here, which is a little bit tricky, but with a little bit of care it's fairly easy to do. We'll pop both of those in. Let's put that one in there. Put the little catches down and it should slot in nicely. And then all you need to do is just go around the outsides and just clip them back in. Make sure we haven't trapped that little black cable under there. And it should all just pop back in. And you'll be able to feel if it's all clipped back in again. There we go. Done. And then just pop the screws in on the reverse. Okay, so now the new RAM card's installed, all that's left is to hopefully see it boot up a little bit quicker. So let's press the power key and start the stopwatch. And you can see it's coming into life already. There we go. I'm just going to move this out of view whilst I type my password. It's just about to come to the password entry screen. And we're currently at 15 seconds, so you can see that's already an awful lot quicker. So let's just pop the password into there. So that's just loading up now. There we go. We're at the front page there, 35 seconds. So we've almost knocked off half the load time from before. So there we go. A quick, simple and easy way. It could be even quicker. If you've got one of the laptops like I showed you in the opening video with just the panels on the back, it could just be literally unscrew it, take the panel off, take the old RAM card out, put the new one in, screw it back up again, and off you go, and you're probably looking at less than a 5-minute job. Unfortunately, with this laptop, we've had to remove the back panel, probably looking more around 10-15 minutes to do it, and it is a little bit more fiddly, but you don't need any technical knowledge in which to do it. I'm not, technically backgrounded, but I've just managed to do that within about 10-15 minutes, and there we go. It's a much quicker laptop. So hopefully that will give you some encouragement. You don't need to spend hundreds or thousands of pounds on a brand new laptop. You've got an old one lying around that's perfectly serviceable. Add a little bit of RAM to it. I think that card cost me about £42. There's various different places you can get it if you search for it online. And there we go.